He got a kick return in the middle of the field against us. Probably early, we lost the Roosters 4 times that year, but it was the first time we played them. And as Rodger was bringing it back to us, I was just on the left-hand side of Chocky, Anthony Watmo, and I go, left foot. He banged him with the right foot and went straight through. And then Chocky's turning around, and as I'm running back, Chocky's going, you said fucking left foot.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the YKTR Sports Show. As always, brought to you by BSC, the #1 supplement company in the game, the Tommy Turbo of supplements. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Scope. Give us a BSC ad right now.
BSC ad?
Look in the camera.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the Shred Ultra Advanced Tropicana. It's just the perfect dose of supplement that I need for when I get after it. As you know, Ice, you're still yet to get me. We talked about it beforehand, but you keep ripping into this, brother, and you might be able to get there one day.
Grateful for BSC. All right, so rolling into a bit of content now. Had a vlog drop yesterday doing a DC challenge. One of your mates, Dizzy, as you like to call him.
Yeah,
Never met him, but apparently your best mate. Yeah. Rolled into the challenge. I'm just going to be transparent. I didn't think you'll make it. I wasn't too vocal about it either, but you done it. So credit to you. So you want to talk us through that?
Yeah. So it was he put out a video probably about a week and a half ago, and then he was getting a lot of people sending him in clips of them having a crack at it. So
kids though,
kids. No, well, a couple of older guys, like a few guys even from the Super League, a couple of players that I knew from the Super League having a crack at it.
All those Pommy boys can kick the ball really well.
They're generally good kickers over there. So, like I said in the vlog, I used to kick at a decent click back in the under 20s. I was in the high 70s, early 80s.
Were you like a sort of mouldy Fitzgibbon?
Yes, and this is at the Roosters. Yeah, this is at the Roosters. So, I copped a lot of flack from my old coach Jim Dimmick because obviously with my personality layering up, I stepped up for a few kicks, and then. As we talked about in the office a little bit after watching the kicks, did a little bit of work at Parramatta with Daryl Halligan, and some of the little things that he taught me over the years really come in handy for me not to kick in a game. But
did you ever have a crack in the NRL game, even when you're leaving?
I did. No, I never got one. So
killer not passing up the ball.
That's it.
All right, so we touched on a little bit earlier. I was starting to pull you back on these runs in the morning.
Yeah,
bit of fear in your eyes when you're looking back over your shoulder.
No, the good thing is it's really pushing me to start going up in my ante a bit. I think we all got comfortable back probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was sort of just running with the boys, running with you, running with Wildy, and now because I can feel you coming like that one day when you come and pick me up and sat on my side, and I was like, fuck, that's just not good enough. So
I should have just ran past you, man. That would have been a giggle. I was going to but I was like, I don't want to be a gronk. You know that guy at fitness, and he always goes hard on the last lap.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting comfortable, you're in a relationship, taking the bracelet off. What's the new thing on the midlife crisis this week?
Oh, yeah, so
someone wrote midlife crisis in the comments. They go, how good is Caleb at vlogging? Scope's going for a midlife crisis.
Yeah, so Nushi made me this little bracelet. To be fair, they're all just lockdown things. I don't put too much thought into it. But she loves me.
Talk us through how does the conversation start where you've gone from painting your nails, dyeing your hair, which looks fucking vibey. I'm just going to give you that.
Thank you.
But rolling into the under 5s bracelet.
Basically, I'll just be playing 2K at home. Playing lockdown, and she'll come up with something, and I'll just agree to it while I'm playing 2K, and then she ends up going, "Oh, well, you said you were going to do this, or we're going to paint your nails, or we're going to dye your hair, or I'm going to make you a bracelet." And I just go, "Yeah, sweet." So as I'm playing, and then she's the boss, so whatever.
Yeah, I like it. Like all good back rows, just doing what you're told, Scope?
That's it.
All right, let's roll into the sports news. Bellamy re-signs. Obviously, I love it. We're obviously Melbourne fans. They're both our second team. So what's your thoughts on this? Yeah, massive, not only just for Melbourne, but for the game. I think it's important that Bellamy's down there. We can't, obviously rugby league's so strong in Queensland and New South Wales in particular. If Bellamy was to leave and Melbourne wouldn't be successful, I think it would be... just the game wouldn't be the same because we've sort of learned to hate as much as we love them as our second team. A lot of people
have learnt to hate them, and they've got such good characters down there. So I just think it's important that they're strong, and with him staying, that keeps them there.
And yeah, he's really important. So even if he's got a sort of he's going to coach for the next 2 years. How important has the roster been? Where I think he attached himself to the big three.
Yeah,
a little bit earlier, and probably more so Cameron Smith. And you sort of heard when Cameron Smith retires, he's going to retire as well. But he's so good at coaching and so good at recruiting. This next lot that have come through, they do it in their own little style. Like Cheese is his own man, Harry Grant's his own man. Obviously, our boy Money. I don't think it would have been too hard to walk away from those types of boys, wouldn't it?
It would have been. I think he even spoke. Did you see the Storm clip that they put up? And he was speaking to the team. That's where they got the Munster clip about Munster having a little jab at him on Roasty's thing. It's such a good, it looks like it's such a good environment. And he even said it obviously a few things come into his decision, but he just found it too hard to walk away from the boys. He's obviously still got really strong relationships, and as good as that big three was, he's potentially got a top fucking 6, Nico Hines, Pappy, Jerome Hughes, Munster, Harry Grant, Brendan Smith. I know Nico's moving on, but he's almost got two at each position compared to what he used to have, and this could be massive for a guy like Cheese, and massive for teams that are desperate to get him. Now, if Bellamy stays, and with the way that the rules are going, it even suits it now more to have pay big money. Yeah. You can pay big money and keep Cheese and Harry Grant together. So,
you could pay 1.2 and have both of them, and I think they'll take a clip back to stay at Melbourne to play in grand finals. Harry Grant's going to get that back through Origin. Cheese is going to get that through probably brand endorsement deals, and that's just his personality type. I think players are moving a little bit smarter where they start to weigh up these type of things. I look at Nick Kotrick, and he's at the Bulldogs right now, and I know we're going to touch on the Bulldogs a little bit later, and they're going to be growing towards that. But taking the money right now and going to a lesser club probably isn't always the play.
Jacko, can you look up and find out what the salary cap is? Or I don't know if you know off the top of your head, just as we're talking about this. I just want to find out what the salary cap is, and I'd get a fair indication.
Like a percentage breakdown.
A percentage, of how much I'd pay to keep Harry and Cheese together, because another big component of this, obviously we'll get into it as well with the Sharks rebuilding, is that Dale Finucane's moved on, so that frees up more money to potentially keep Cheese and maybe put him in that 13 role where he can play 13 and 9.
Have you got a number there?
Have you got me here?
Yep, you got
so just off the top here, the National Rugby League salary cap 2021 is 9.9 million with a minimum wage of 115.
Fuck, bro, I'd pay more to keep them together. I'd pay 1.5 or over.
Yeah,
if they were on,
and that's under 10%. If they were over 10%,
if they were on 750 a pop each at the moment with the form that they're in,
good mates.
That they work well together. They play well together. Not only good mates, but they actually play well. Cheese. Always, he said it a few times this year. He's gone over a couple of meetings and he goes, Harry's just getting me the ball in the right spots. That's not fake. They've got a mad relationship. They know how to play with each other. If I could somehow, put 1.5 into the cap for those two and to keep them, I'd do it.
Yeah, and more.
In a heartbeat.
I'd
probably even go more.
Yeah, that'd be minimum.
Yeah.
So we talked about Bellamy up there with the elite coaches. You go him. You go Wayne Bennett. Trent Robinson, is that fair? No one else is in that upper echelon.
In the conversation, no.
And
I think it's daylight after those three. I'm trying to think now off the top of my head.
Who's next after that? I couldn't even think of. That's just how. Good
Desi would have to be close to the conversation for what he's done.
Not on these boys' level.
Made a few grand finals, man. If you're talking about success rate, he obviously did what he did at Manly. You got to forget he come into the Northern Beaches, built Manly to what they were.
Agree.
Went to the Dogs, built them to what they were. A couple of grand finals in 3 or 4 years.
But I feel like he's got a lifespan on his coaching, man, because he always back ends deals.
Yeah, well, but that's a part of coaching as well. That's tactical. If we're talking about in the conversation, I dare say Desi would probably be the next in line. He's won two grand finals, been in 5, in maybe 5. So,
but what me and Jackson were talking about a little bit before, Bellamy's playing talent compared to your Trent Robinsons and your Wayne Bennett's over the course.
Yes, that's what separates you.
And even his big three, he developed Broncos overlooked Cameron Smith. No one was looking at Billy Slater.
Yeah.
No one would have predicted Cron would have had the career he has. So his in terms of developing players, he's right up there, isn't he?
Yeah.
And also developing coaches as well, all the assistant coaches that have come from a Melbourne system. He's just had sustained success, so it's crazy to see.
Yeah.
So also, like, your dad was a coach, my dad was a coach, and you have coaches that can influence people's lives. I think he's like, I was talking to Sandor Earl yesterday. He goes, there's nothing like being in the Melbourne system. You take that skill set and you just apply it to anywhere in life, and you're going to be good. And we grew up with dads as our coaches, and it's always like, I remember we were playing touch with your dad, and I missed a touch on a Sunday. Fucking spray of doom.
What, you would have been about 15 or something as well?
15. Used to stay at Scope's house when I was a little bit younger. He goes, fuck, you're going to play defense as well? You only playing attack?
Yeah.
Just be relaxed, touch.
Yeah, so even going further back, we used to have this casual game of touch on a Sunday, a bit like how we tried to play the other day. And it used to be a pretty good turnout. It used to be like probably 11 on 11. And I was legit like 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. And Waldy come down with us. And he said to Waldy, he goes, if you're not going to have a crack, don't worry about coming down next week.
What, 12?
Waldy was 12, 11 or 12. Yeah. But like that's
But my dad used to talk to me like that as well.
Yeah, and then I obviously got a real competitive streak from him from that.
Yeah. All right, so rolling into the Melbourne versus Penrith game, sort of shaped up as the game probably of the year, but much like the earlier rounds, they're not going to have some of their star players in as well. So you want to roll through this game as well. Obviously the big ones, I like Matt Burton rolling back into the 6.
Yeah.
I know I was sort of big on having Tyrone May in there.
Yeah.
Also, not disrupting the centres where Matt Burton's been playing, but I think you just need to get your best players in the right positions. Obviously Nathan Cleary's out, Brian To'o's out as well. Brent Naden comes in, Robert Jennings, really good winger as well. Obviously don't have the same punch as those boys, but I feel like it's still going to be a pretty good game.
Isaiah Yeo and James Fish-Harris as well.
Yeah.
Like that, they're going to be massive, man, for the forward pack. I'm probably against you here. I think this could be a bit of a fucking
blowout.
Yeah, I feel this could be a bit of a hiding, especially coming off the performance that the Melbourne Storm had against the Cowboys last week.
Yeah,
you know, no one sort of just watching them.
But Melbourne they weren't doing too much.
North Cowboys had a crack, mate.
Yeah,
Cowboys had a crack. Mad respect to them because they hung in there, and a few teams did that over the weekend. Watching the games just gone, is that they didn't just give in straight away after they. Under a bit of adversity, a lot of teams are just thrown in the towel. Canberra comes to mind straight away with Parramatta, where they fought back after defending their line for a minute. And Cowboys did that, so props to the Cowboys. But knowing sort of the intensity that Craig Bellamy has, I dare say that he would have been ripping into the boys, and they probably would have been looking ahead to this game, to be fair.
Yep.
Like they're not
that
sort
usually
of team.
happens. That happens sometimes.
When you got a big game around the corner and you just want to get through the Cowboys game unscathed. But I feel like Melbourne can do a proper number on the Panthers here.
Yeah, we're sort of matching up everyone here on the visual. Man, 13 plus wouldn't surprise me at all, would it?
Yeah, and then they've got, obviously, Pappy got some minutes back in his legs too last week off the bench.
Yep.
He'll be better for that run as well. Prez comes back into that team. They've got their origin players, Felice Kufusi, Dale Finucane back in, who weren't in last week. So
it's crazy how reliant we are on superstars right now. So Munster was out last week. Melbourne sort of struggled. Whenever Tommy's out, Manly sort of scraped by.
Yeah.
Nathan Cleary's kind of been the big one lately. Like Penrith they kind of look like a normal side again. You know what I mean? They look beatable. Like when Nathan's there, everyone just gets 10% better or 20% better. He just makes everyone in and around him a lot better, doesn't he?
Yeah, you just end up looking at the flow of games. I remember like last week on Sunday, it was only 10 minutes into the game, I think, just before Isaiah Yeo went down, and I said, I wrote in the group chat, I said, boys, like Penrith look clunky. $8 here for head to head. Like obviously they lost. They lost 18-12, but you can just tell the difference. Like there's a bit of a flow. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upset in this game.
I think Matt Burton really steadies the ship up a lot because he'll take control of all the big kicking as well. Whenever him and Jerome play, I think Jerome's, even though he's the more experienced player and he's the origin player right now, he's still happy to take that step back and play that second set of eyes or as a pure 5'8". I know he's named at the 7. He'll still get his touches in. But yeah, I think that Matt Burton kind of levels the playing field up a little bit. But I just think Jerome Hughes is one of the best 7s right now, and Munster's just going to do his thing, and Melbourne just going to keep rolling on. So rolling up to the World Cup shenanigans, Kiwis and Aussie pulled out. Initial thoughts?
I can understand it.
Yeah, so can I.
I can understand it. So from what a lot of the there's been mixed reports about it. Obviously,
what's some of the reports?
The reports are that apparently it's the NRL clubs that have gone to the New Zealand Rugby League and the Australian Rugby League and said, look, we just don't want our players to go. It's going to be a disrupted pre-season again. We had COVID last year that flowed into having the Origin players come back after Chrissy and a little bit further in. And basically, if they have to go into lockdown and they come back and they're in a bubble again, then some of these players might be coming back in February with 2 weeks of pre-season training. As you know, you need the Ks in the legs, you need the contact before the season. So from a club's point of view, especially for some of the teams could have like potentially 13. Like we're talking across the board: Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa, Fiji. Some of the, like 13 out of your squad of 30. It's just you can't even fucking run ball work at training if you don't. If that's the case, so.
So we're looking at the Melbourne side right now, like Adokar be in, Munster be in, Jerome Hughes, all the Kiwi boys would be in, Welsh would be in there, Felice Kafusi be in there, Dale Finucane would be in. Yeah. So
even go to the bench, anyone on the bench like Pappy,
Paps would be close. Kamitha would be in Fiji as well.
Kamitha, all those boys as well. So George Jennings would play Tonga, Justin Olam will play PNG. So your whole Melbourne story.
Remus Smith has a chance of playing for New Zealand.
Yeah, fucking
with the form that he's been playing it.
So all those guys, your whole Melbourne side's out. So a lot of the times when stuff like this happens and players have got a voice, you hear a bit of reaction. It was kind of like crickets, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All the boys must be low-key going, yes.
Yeah. Like I'd imagine. So
we got a feel for the England side.
Yeah, so Mark Flanagan messaged me. He's a good mate of mine from over in England. He played at West Tigers.
He's a good-looking cunt too, eh?
Yeah, he's a snack. He's a snack. Anyway, he messaged me and he goes, I can't believe the boys don't want to come over. And I said, look, I'll explain them to what I said. I from what I gather, it's the NRL clubs, but you can sort of tell from the boys' reactions like that, especially some of the guys that are seasoned and played a few caps and all those sorts of things. They go into this bubble. They're away from their family now. It's been disruptive couple of years for them. Some of them might be thinking, as much as they'd love to play for their country, like, I'd rather just sit back and say nothing in this. Like, if they were to say, if the Australian Rugby League and New Zealand Rugby League were to come and say, look, we're going to go, I dare say they'd all put their hand up. Like, none of them would pull out. And
you'd rather travel England for 4 weeks or 5 weeks and then fucking running laps around.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they'll definitely put their hands up and want to go
Parramatta Park doing hills and shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, they'll put their hands up for it. But they're
a bit of a Bunsen too.
Yeah, little Bunsen. Bunsen's always important, as you know.
Bit of a Bunsen, bit of travel, few caps. Yeah, but it's been a rough couple of years for the boys, and obviously, like I understand they get paid well and all that, but they just get told what to do, like where to live at the moment, when you can go out for a coffee and shit like that. I think it just gets draining after a while. So, is the World Cup still going ahead?
I understand that they're still planning on going ahead with it, so it'll just be they're thinking of just stacking the tier 2 sides of Tonga, Samoa. Like if like you said, if the boys do want to play, I think it's going to be the Kiwis and Aussies going to their second tier.
I was listening to Laurie Daly saying, he was talking about on SEN a couple of mornings ago, that the Indigenous team and the Māori team, putting in a team, and apparently the boys have come out and said that they'll put their hands up for it. So, but like it hasn't got past that point. I think they're just having meetings about it now. So it'll be interesting. It'll probably develop over the next couple of weeks.
They've got to make a decision quick, though.
Yeah, whether it gets the green light or not. But I know from the English side, obviously they've come out and they've been pretty vocal about it as well. So
I saw somewhere Tommy Turbo could play for like Serbia. Is that where Luke is from as well? Is that where Luke is from?
Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Slovenia.
Oh, Slovenia. So it's different countries. He won't be playing that.
I think, but if like to your point, Scope, if they were all to just stack the second tier sides, then you defeat the whole purpose of Aussie New Zealand pulling out.
Yeah,
from an NRL club's perspective of not wanting their boys to go away.
And so that's what I mean. Like,
I don't think they'll go.
It's not their like it hasn't been New Zealand and Australian Rugby League. It's been from the NRL clubs, I believe. And then
that'd be a bit of a giggle if they just went on and played anyway. Yeah. It'd be like a kind of a big fuck you to New Zealand Rugby League and Kangaroos. Like you ain't the big dogs around here anymore. Later. All right, so we're going to roll into the sort of best rebuilds. We seen this on, was this Roasty's page we seen this on?
Yeah, Roasty's page, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to go Sharks versus Doggies. Sharks rebuild, we've got Hines, Dale Finucane, Cam McInnes is coming back off an injury as well. Dogs, man, they got Adokar, Pangai Jr., Vaughan's just signed for a year, Dufty's gone for a year, and Matt Burton. Obviously the Dogs one's better, isn't it, or nah?
I'm Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
So we can have a little debate on this because I just like, from the Sharks' point of view, and this is like respectfully to the boys, like a lot of those players have X factor, and there's still like some of you look at those names, they can have 10 out of 10, some of those players.
Yep.
But they can also have 5 out of 10s.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd prefer to have Finucane, Hines and McInnes, where they probably don't have the ceiling, but like as a group,
you know where you're going to get.
Look, because the Sharks aren't like, they're floating around. They've got a bit of like, X factor as well. Like, add Moiser to that to re-sign in as well. He's re-signed for another year. I just think, going into a club, and I've got apparently there's a really high opinion of Craig Fitzgibbon, who, I was in the under-20s. I've seen him train. I know what he's about. Like, just from watching him train, I sort of got a pretty good gauge on how he's going to be as a coach. This just has his name written all. Those 3 players have like him imprinted on them. You know what I mean? They're his types of guys.
Let's break this really down. Hines, obviously one of the game stars right now.
Yep.
Leaves the Melbourne system. Does that affect him? I think it will. But can he be someone like a lot of people when they leave the Melbourne system? It's like there's 1,000, but maybe a guy like Gareth Widdop is an example of someone that can not be in Melbourne and kick on.
He did well. He did well at the Dragons for sure. I think it'll be nice to have Hines and Finucane coming together. In the terms of like Finucane can be that set the example for, because Finucane gives me sort of like Paul Gallen vibes anyway. Like he's just going to be straight up and down. He's going to get about his work. He's going to be a leader through the middle.
Hey, they must have the biggest rap on him, mate. So he rocked into the New South Wales side and straight into vice captain. Like you know what I mean. So
it says a lot about his character. And
yeah,
who he is, yeah.
And like I didn't realise his carry was so strong in Origin. He was carrying the ball really well. Obviously, when you see Melbourne play, they do a different style, and all those guys are kind of like decoys, and it's just a style of play. But yeah,
when you
would you roll him straight into captain with Wade Graham? I'd keep
Wado.
Keep Wado.
I'd keep Wado captain. I'd put him as co-captains or vice skipper. Then you got Cam McInnes. I believe there's been talks that Cam McInnes was brought there to play lock.
Yeah.
So
he moves up to 9.
So straight away, if you sort of look at the makeup of their pack, Dale Finucane up front. You got Cam McInnes goes to lock. Wado and Britton Nakora. Like that's a good workhorse team. You got
diverse as well.
Sai Sifa Talakai.
Yeah.
He's a bit of an X factor. He might come off the bench or push for a starting spot. Toby Rudolph, he's developing, slowly developing into a nice, first grader.
Ashton Sims. He plays exactly like him, eh?
Hamiel Ueli. So they've got, for the guys, they've got a few big boppers who, you don't punch out the biggest minutes. Now they got you throw in 2 workhorses into that pack. I think Nico Hines will probably most likely play 6 with Moiser at 7 or 7 and 6 between them, and because there's no way you're pushing Will Kennedy out of fullback. He's been unreal for him this year.
Silky, eh?
He's silky as. Yeah, I've got a massive rap on him.
Glides. He just looks cool when he plays.
So yeah, Hines. Yeah, I like. It's nice. I like the way they're building with the doggies.
Are they emotionally scarred? Like you've been getting spanked for 4 years, man.
They're going to be fun,
years.
man. They're going to be fun to watch. Like Fox.
When your dad kicks you. When your dad kicks you up the arse and you got a bit of a limp for a while? That might be the doggies for a few years, eh?
Yeah.
They just forget how to. Sometimes you they say winning's a habit and losing's a habit.
Yeah.
Man, it's going to be tough to get out of there. And you can say all the right things and they've got all the right pieces, man. They've literally got no excuse anymore.
Yeah, they don't have any excuses. I sort of jumped the gun with the Bulldogs to start the year this year, so I'm just going to be more.
What'd you toss up?
I thought they were going to be in the 8 to 12 range.
Yeah, I would have said that too.
So pushing for the top 8, and then their worst with the few. I was excited about some of the Kotrick you spoke about. Corey Allen, who had come off the back of a pretty successful Origin series. Kyle Flanagan, I thought he was going to get a new lease of life, but it just hasn't panned out. They're starting to develop some nice players, man. So.
The Flanagan one's super interesting, isn't it?
They're going to be fun to watch.
Yeah,
they're going to you want to tune into a Dogs game early in the year.
So Addo Carr's got points in him, Pangai Junior's got points in him. Vaughan loves getting over the line pretty early. So a lot of the times when you're losing, you actually struggle to score points. They don't really have this problem anymore. Burden can carry the ball well, can kick the ball well. Dufty's got a wide 4 with a long ball. So within that little 5 there, that's 18 to 24 points a game at least. If you're kidding him, right? Was that too generous?
No, that's what I mean. That
12 to 16. Hey, 12 to 16.
My point is they've got 18, but that 5 can also have -12 as well. That's what the most consistent out of all of them is probably the Fox, like at Car. Like we know what we're going to get from Fox at New South Wales level, Melbourne Storm level, Australia, Indigenous. He always plays at a high level. As much as we love Duff, he's a mate of ours. Matty Burton, Pangai's the ultimate. Like Pangai can be the best player in the comp on any given day, but he has the odd stinker as well. So. For me, I'd rather.
But he plays for a shitty team, right?
Yeah, I know. So, but I'm excited. It's like as a fan, I'm excited. I don't mean to rip on the boys too much, but give me the more
respectfully to the Broncos fans out.
Respectfully. But for me, if I'm going to start a season, I know what I'm going to get out of Dal Finucane, Cameron McInnes, and Nick Owen, and that's maximum effort. And
you're Trent Barrett. You got Pangai Jr. rolling through. What are you saying to him? Just do your job.
You know what? Just talking about...
sorry to cut you off. I think him just hanging around Sonny Bill. Sonny Bill lives out in Oatley. He's got his own gym and stuff. Imagine SB Dub on call. Oos.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? I think that'll help him.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just the fact that he's away from, you said, like the Broncos now, where you got to remember at the Broncos, it's sort of been like, they've got some nice young forwards coming through, but like if something went wrong, it's like fucking Milf and Pangai. Like he's just been in that Milf Pangai. It's up to if they're going to win a games, Payne Huss has to have a 10 out of 10. He's got to have a 10 out of 10.
And that's just to compete, eh?
And that's just to fucking with the strength of their roster, that's just to compete and have like a game where they don't get ridiculed. So just getting down to the Bulldogs, I reckon Trent Barrett might just go, fuck, let's start again, let's start fresh. You come out and do what you do, and I'll make sure that everything's in place for you to succeed around you.
It'd be interesting if he brings the same structure, because obviously, like, the way the Panthers play, he brought that over from Manly, and John Cartwright brought that down from North Queensland. So it'd be interesting if they sort of stick to that style, or they go more traditional left-right.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to see how it all plays out. So really looking forward to the doggies.
It'd be nice I wonder if Burton and Pangai will end up on the same left edge together, and they can have like a bit of a Jerome. You know how Burton's looked really nice on that left edge, and he sort of knows how Kickout plays a bit on that left edge, and try to implement some of those shapes where he's out the back and just mixing their shape up. That could be something that they'll look at. It'd be
big edge. He's big, bro, Burton, eh?
Yeah.
Someone said he looks like Jeremy Lattimore, and I can't shake it.
He does.
Jeremy Lattimore with a bit of skill.
Kitty's Lattimore.
All right, so rolling into a bit of sad news, but good news if you're a Kiwi. Rodger Tuivasa-Sheck, one of the greats. I read on Sean Johnson's post the other day, like sometimes when you've got a talented dude, they can sort of get by on talent and it's enough to do it. Like they don't really train well. Rodger was that perfect mix of hard work and talent, wasn't he?
Yeah, just like most people, there have been highlights that have come out over him over the last... Fuck, man, you almost start to forget. Sometimes you take players for granted because they've been around for so long and you've seen it. I'll tell you a funny story about Rodger. So I believe it was his debut year in 2013 when I got to Manly.
Yep.
And he was playing on the left wing. He was playing on the right wing for the Roosters, and I was left back row. So he had a kick return. So he brought a kick return back to the sort of the middle of the field or to the tram line where I was, and I feinted to the open and then bang, dusted me with a mad left foot. This is like the first time I'd seen him. I didn't know who he was. He was only a kid at the time. He went straight through and dusted me, made a line break. This is only in a trial though, so you get away with it. You get away with it. It doesn't come up on all the highlights, but he fucking cleaned me. Anyway, he must have switched to one side. He got a kick return in the middle of the field against us. Probably early. We lost the Roosters 4 times that year, but it was the first time we played them. And as Rodger was bringing it back to us, I was on the left hand side of Chocky, Anthony Watmo, and I go left foot. He banged him with the right foot and went straight through. And then Chocky's turning around, and as I'm running back, Chocky's going, "You said fucking left foot," and I go, "Well, fuck, I
know who he is."
Yeah, I probably hadn't done enough film on him, but obviously that left and right foot, man, that's iconic for New Zealanders and touch footy players, and there are so many good ones that have gone before him. But
do you know what I liked?
Perfected it.
Do you know what I liked about his step? Like he stepped into contact. Like a lot of people when they step, they're trying to avoid contact. Yeah. Like he'd use it as just to shift the weight of the defender and break through.
Stepping and going forward.
Yeah. So it was a massive difference, and like he was never scared of contact or anything like that. So obviously love playing Rodger, watching him play. Some of the story as well. So, but this did make the highlights, and it wasn't me though. But the ball went over the top, and he got a line break as well. And Matty Moylan was coming to defend him up, same year, 2013. Yeah. And Matty tried to show him the sideline. And he still got cranked off the left foot, bro. So, there's the right sideline, bro. And Matty goes, yeah, sweet, I'll show him the sideline, bro. Rodger just goes up, crank, bro. When he steps, the force that he hits the ground with is fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it's a couple of, from his early years at the Warriors, some of those who did he step? Michael Morgan, bro. One of the highlights was stepping Michael Morgan, and tore his
pec.
Yeah.
Did he tore his pec doing that?
Yeah,
okay. Bro. That was so clean, man. Like and
fuck snapping ankles, he's tearing pecs.
Yeah, you talk about boys.
He got Kyle Felt on the 1 meter blind side
as well. No, young Tonamapia.
Can we
hopefully if we got a bit of time, maybe we can get some edits of up off. Maybe there's some film on.
Moyes would be filthy
on the plays. I'd love to get it up, but yeah, like you said, thanks to Rodger, a lot of class and respect not only shown by him this year to be doing trying to bring Reece Walsh in and taking his time on the wing.
Many done that to him early on, so he would have had that sort of pedigree there as well. Let me bring the young kid through. From exciting, obviously one Dally M as well, which is the highest honour individually. It just hurts when you're a Kiwi and you can't play in these Origin games. Yeah. So I think he's obviously living in New Zealand. You see how cool the fucking All Blacks are. He's going to roll over there, man, and hopefully, obviously, we love a bit of union now.
Yeah, we've got a couple of boys coming up. I'm speaking to Aaron Smith and TJ Perenara back, so it'd be interesting to get their thoughts on him, how they think he's going to transition, especially given the fact that they're letting him go now a little bit earlier to make sure he works on his craft.
Jacko, where do you see him rolling in? What
position?
Yeah.
I think they'll probably start him out a bit wider.
Wing?
Yeah, start him on the wing, move him into the midfield. I think his future's going to be fullback, though. He's a bit cursed.
Has he got a kick? Can he kick?
You don't necessarily
need to in this.
Yeah, Will Jordan doesn't have the biggest kick, does he?
D-Mac has a good kick, but doesn't really use it. Even guys like David Havili. You just need a runner now.
Do you just need to have Chris Latham?
Do you just need to have that little pop gun, sort of these days? Like if Rodger can put it on the foot, get a bit of a pop gun in the middle of the field and then chase it down and then keep play field position. You don't really need that long yardage kick anymore, do you?
Exactly.
Yeah, that mad midfield bomber and the boys go up.
Yeah, that's a D-Mac special, that one.
He's also
Corey Jane, guns.
Yes.
Schoolboy, obviously. It's a long time ago, but Rodger's played plenty of high-level fullback in rugby union.
Yeah, if you've got a nice 10 and a nice 9 who can kick the ball a decent click, then you can afford to have a player like
Trained with the NZ Sevens boys last year, did a pre-season with Liam Messam in that.
Yeah.
Apparently was just fucking clinic shoulders a bit above all of them. So
yeah, and the difference between him and players that have gone in the past, obviously got the background of Doom. So it's like he knows the game inside and out. He's probably been a massive fan of the game and watched it. So sometimes we've had players that have transitioned and gone from rugby league to rugby union, and they've just like Sammy Burgess has been.
Benji's be a prime example.
Yeah, but even Sammy said he had to learn the game, and he was just starting to find his feet in it before he started to realise this isn't for me, and ended up coming back or whatnot. Or they gave up on him. I think maybe England gave up on him a little bit. So and massive respect again to the Warriors, man. The way that the Warriors have conducted themselves over the last couple of years not give up. But
who's his CEO, bro? He's a GA.
Cam George, good guy.
Yeah, to give this to Rog to make sure, because he could have put the club first. Things have been taken away from him, that game going back to New Zealand, and they've handled themselves so well, man. They've got to be as a game. I think there's got to be something there's got to be some sort of reward for the Warriors for what they've done over the last couple of years.
I think enough's enough. Give them something.
There's got to be a majority of games that go back to New Zealand for next year or whatever. I think
6-point head start on games. That'd be a giggle. Were we going to do a blog on that one time?
Yeah, I don't think it was enough. Wasn't it? The boys were getting pumped. So
just on a thing that doesn't really matter, the way he looks probably the coolest in the rugby league uniform, Like the way when he walks out, he's got the short socks up. He's always got vibey boots on. Legs are always oiled up. Fucking slick back of doom walking out the tunnel with the island drums going.
Wow, imagine him in that all black though.
Yeah, I know. That'd be cool, right?
He's gonna fucking look.
I can tell you as well, if the All Blacks tap someone on the shoulder and get them to come across to Union, there's a good chance they're going to be playing. They don't just get willy-nilly any NRL player to come over.
Oh,
so
yes. Him and Sonny.
Saying,
do you reckon he's got an NZRU contract straight off?
He does, yeah.
He does?
Yeah, he does. So a lot of people saying, I don't think he's going to make it in Union or whatever. He's going to be given every opportunity to make it.
Yeah, I just think he's based on his high school, his playing in high school at a high level, and you can just see he was a natural rugby union player as well. And
fuck, he used to have some of the freshest press conferences.
He still hasn't properly developed that. He's such a nice guy, bro. You can see he's genuinely trying to be like. He always wants to say the right. He's a bit like Chaz White, he's a bit diplomatic and always wants to say the right things and just a fucking good guy. So sometimes you can see him just trying to, how do I not rip the boys? Because a lot of times, bro, he's been fucking easily the best player for the Warriors and the Warriors haven't played well. And, sometimes the player can fucking get down on it and say the wrong things. He always says the right things, man.
Yeah.
And you can tell, he probably means it. Like he just seems like a fucking champion. So
he's been dragging the Warriors for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
and look, they had some good spines. Bro, remember they had Bully, Sean, and Fozzie for a bit.
Yeah,
and he was still their best player by a country mile. Never let you down. Shout out to RTS. Obviously got to play for him in the Kiwis as well, so grateful for that. So he was just cool to hang around. I was like, fuck, you're cool. So thanks for tuning in to YKTR Sports Show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Later.